Well, this is certainly interesting. Les Miles appeared on a Houston radio station Friday to talk about the Tigers, and he apparently had some pointed thoughts on the new LSU head coach. Host Josh Innes asked Miles about LSU's over-under for the 2018 set at 7 wins, which led Miles into a monologue about Ed Orgeron asking for fans' patience. "I never accepted the feeling of, hey, you need to have patience. When you say you need to have patience, aren't you just really saying to your team you're not good enough?" Miles said, via The Advocate. "Because I want you to know something, I never took the field with the Tigers where I didn't think I wasn't going to absolutely kick somebody's tail, period. I never asked, hey, give me a break here." For the record, Orgeron asked for fans' patience in the spring game. LSU is working in a new offensive coordinator in Steve Ensminger and running an open competition between 3 quarterbacks. Miles then said this, unprompted: "Certain people need to have a safety net. If you need a safety net, you need not coach for the Tigers because the Tigers are your safety net. They are the winningest, toughest, most committed group of men that I have been around." Miles and Orgeron have a complicated history. Miles hired Orgeron as his defensive line coach ahead of the 2016, a supposed game-changer hire after Miles was nearly axed in 2015. That didn't work, though, and it was Orgeron who was named LSU's interim after Miles was fired 4 games into the 2016, after LSU nearly hired Jimbo Fisher the prior fall, before Miles snuffed out the Palace coup LSU AD Joe Oliva and success he orchestrated, and Orgeron was named LSU's time head coach in late November of 2016. Orgeron went 6-2 as LSU's interim and 9-4 in his first as head coach. Miles was 9-3 in his final at LSU. The NCAA on Friday settled a lawsuit brought by the widow of a former Texas player alleging the organization was at fault for not properly informing the player of the risks repeated blows to the head brought to his overall health. The first of its kind suit was settled after 3 days of a trial in a Dallas courtroom. Terms were not disclosed. The NCAA has agreed to settle the claims brought by Mrs. Plutz, NCAA Chief Legal Officer Donald Remy said in a statement. The settlement gives all parties the opportunity to resolve the case outside of a lengthy trial. The NCAA does not admit liability as part of the settlement. "We will continue to defend the association vigorously in all jurisdictions where similar unwarranted individual cases are pursued. It is our hope that other plaintiffs' lawyers recognize that this is one settlement in one case." The suit was brought by Deborah Hardin Plutz, the widow of Greg Plutz, who played for Darrell Royal's Texas Longhorns from 1968 to 71, helping UT win a school record 30 straight games, win 4 straight Southwest Conference championships, and claim national championships in 1969 and 70. He was named the SWC's Defensive Player of the Year in 1971 but did not play professionally, instead pursuing a career as a teacher after his 1972 graduation. Plutz passed away in 2015 and donated his brain to Boston University, who ruled he suffered from CTE, which can only be diagnosed posthumously. The suit stated Plutz suffered from memory loss, difficulty communication and confusion, according to the Associated Press. Plo's widow sued for negligence and wrongful death, arguing that repeated head trauma and lifelong cognitive difficulties were not communicated as part of the assumed risks of playing college football. A month to the day after stating he will get the first opportunity to be the starter, Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer came out and said Dwayne Haskins is his starting quarterback. Haskins was heavily favored to win the chance to succeed J.T. Barrett as the Buckeyes' beanslinger, and the news was all but confirmed when Joe Burrow announced his eventual transfer to LSU. Though Haskins enters camp as the starter, Meyer said sophomore Tate Martell will compete for the job, according to ESPN's Adam Rittenberg. The only change now is that he'll officially be competing as Ohio State's number 2 quarterback. A third-year sophomore from Potomac, MD, Haskins appeared in 8 games as a redshirt freshman in 2017. He completed 40 of 57 passes for 565 yards with 4 touchdowns and 1 interception whilst rushing 24 times for 86 yards. His biggest performance of the came in relief of Barrett at the Big House, nailing 6 of 7 passes for 94 yards while adding 3 carries for 24 yards to help lead Ohio State to a 31-20 win over Michigan. Former Oregon defender Fotu Liato II was found dead in a single-car accident near Autzen Stadium early Friday morning. According to KEZI-TV, Liato was riding in a car when it rolled over and crashed around 2:30 a.m. near Martin Luther King Boulevard and Kinzerau Avenue in Eugene, directly to the east of Autzen Stadium. The driver of the vehicle, 22-year-old Pedro Chavarin Jr., reportedly told police he was the vehicle's lone occupant, and the crash was then cleared. It wasn't until several hours later, when a woman was walking in the area just before 7 a.m., that she saw a hand and called authorities. Chavarin was taken to the hospital and cited for the DUI, according to KEZI. Obviously, the discovery of Liato's body complicates the case tremendously. The coroner will have to determine the approximate time when Liato's death occurred and whether Chavarin's alleged falsehood cost Liato his life. My USO will forever be in my heart. What happened was tragic, but what makes me feel better is knowing that you are in paradise with our Heavenly Father. Folded hands, medium skin tone, rest in love, my USOFOTU. Love you UCE. Full score pic.twitter.com/ank6kpagan. Austin Fowler at Fowler_10 June 16, 2018. Hit with the bad news tonight. Former teammate of mine FOTU Liato was killed in a car accident last night. Prayers out to his family. Rest easy FOTU. Folded hands, medium light skin tone. Tanakaru at car F10 June 16, 2018. Liato signed with Oregon in 2015 out of Steilacoom, Wash, a southwestern suburb of Tacoma. He played as a true freshman and appeared in 37 of 38 possible games on special teams and at safety and outside linebacker, recording 37 career tackles. He was kicked off the team in April after he was arrested for removing a parking boot from his vehicle, drawing charges of second-degree criminal mischief and second-degree theft. Liato was 21 years old. Even if you don't follow the ins and outs of recruiting, if you're interested in college football enough to read this fine blog of ours, you've probably heard of Elite 11. It's an annual gathering of, you guessed it, 11 of the nation's best quarterback recruits each summer at Nike's headquarters in Oregon. Only the elite of the elite of the elite high school prospects are fortunate enough to appear at Elite 11 once, but Chase Griffin somehow managed to make it to Elite 11 3 times, by the time he was 13 years old. So determined to become a successful quarterback was the adolescent Griffin that he caught the eye of popular quarterback trainer George Whitfield, which led to a gig setting up cones and fetching errant balls for the likes of Johnny Manziel, Braxton Miller and Everett Golson before they were household names. I can tell you, from the neck up, HES on what I would call an accelerated program, Whitfield said at the time. He is really getting a chance to understand the office of the quarterback. Though Griffin was devoted to becoming the best football player he can be, his interests spread far beyond the gridiron. Here's how Max Olson's 2014 profile of the 13-year-old Griffin began. Round Rock, Texas. Chase Griffin is a 13-year-old prodigy in every sense of the word. He's a 99th percentile test taker and chamber orchestra violinist who's already plotting to one day run a water purification startup, then maybe run for president. Fast forward 4 years and Griffin is now a 17-year-old rising senior at Central Texas Hutto High School, where he starts for the Hippos as a consensus 3-star recruit. Griffin is slight at 5'10" and 186 pounds, but isn't willing to let a slight obstacle like size stop him from living his dreams. I feel like through Wall Street a lot of good can be done and a lot of good change can be done because of the amount of power and money going through. Griffin told 247 Sports on his plans to major in economics in college. If it's positively affected by well-meaning morals, then the world can be changed for the better. On Friday, Griffin committed to UCLA, choosing the Bruins over a slew of Ivy League offers. We didn't really talk about football for the first 20 minutes in his office, Griffin told The Athletic. We're talking about economics and certain films about Wall Street, Too Big to Fail and The Big Short, and then it transitioned into football. He was telling me how they go through a certain checklist, transcripts, attendance, film, meeting you in person, seeing you throw live, before they offer. And right after that, he says that's why we want to offer you a scholarship, and we kept talking.